What's going on, everybody? Today I'll be showing you how to play the Boomkin Spec in 10.1.7 update of WoW, and this is going to be a very RBG oriented tutorial and how to play just kind of like broadly in 10 on 10 PvP. As far as I know, this is just probably going to be the same for future updates, as it's kind of set in stone. Like it's not a very different build. Like it's a very it doesn't get changed a lot. Let me put it like that. And it basically revolves around main moves being Moonfire, Sunfire, Starfall, Star Surge. If you ask any Boomie, they'll all tell you the same thing. Those are your just main moves, and it's not too hard of a spec to play. Now I will show you guys real quick the spec before we get anything first. This is a very burst heavy spec. Not a whole lot of people run it. Most people run something like this where they put 2 points I have in Waning Twilight into Fury Balloon and Radiant Moonlight, right? And basically, the best breakdown I have for this build is you're going to be in the full line of Starfall. As Starfall is your main move, so you're going to especially want to have Lunar Shrapnel in, which just does 20% more damage for your Starfalls. And then you're going to want to have your Zenda's End of the Dream with Friend of Fae, which basically, when you have Moonfire, which is your main dot on everybody, there's a chance to spawn Fairy Dragon, and all your arcane spells do more damage by 10%. And arcane is going to be your good old Moonfire, so does more damage. So that's always nice. Um, let's say on the Druid side at least, this is very the whole Druid and Boomie is very make it how you want. Like you don't have to specifically run one specific thing just because another person's running it. I've seen everyone run literally everything except this ability right here, Center Firmament, and most of the things like about right here. Everyone's everything. It's a lot of changeability. But I like to run Innervate, which infuses friendly here with mana, so you don't have to use any mana for 10 seconds, which helps them if they're because they can generate mana while they're right? Um, and so yeah, that's about it on the Druid side. That changes. But on the balance side, like I said, um, we'll be running Incarn with Elun's Guidance. Elun's Guidance makes it easier while Incarn's up to cast more Starfalls and Star Surges. And that's about it from the things that change. Like some people run Soul of the Forest, some people run Bounce of All Things. It's a very make it how you want class and what feels best with you. But we're going to go ahead out of this, and I'm going to go show you guys the main rotation for Boomie. So we're just going to go to the single target for the moment. So first thing we're going to want to do is we are going to want to open with our two dots, right? And the two dots being Moonfire and Sunfire. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hit a quick Moonfire, Sunfire. We're going to hit Wrath twice. That puts us in, not Celestial Alignment, but our Eclipse. So we hit Star Surge twice. Then as you see, we have Warrior Balloon in. So I don't know. It didn't pop because I usually have a macro to make it pop itself, but we hit three of these because it makes Starfire free. And so you see Moonfire and Sunfire fell off, so we're just going to double Wrath again and put us back into Eclipse. Star Surge, and then I just got a free Starfall proc because I am into Starweaver, which gives me a 20% chance to get Starfall when it's got Star Surge, and Starfall makes 40% chance for a free Star Surge. So we're just gonna keep rolling that. Double Wrath, we'll do Moonfire, Sunfire, Star Surge, Star Surge. This is a single target. Right, double Wrath again, Moonfire, Sunfire, Star Surge. Very easy, very simple. 4 buttons. So, but things get a little bit trickier when you get to the multi-target. So, multi-target, very first thing we're going to do, we're going to cast a Moonfire, we're going to cast a Sunfire. Has a chance to spread because we're in Improved Sunfire and Twin Moons. Okay, so we have dots on everybody. We're going to double Wrath. I didn't mean to cast that Starfall, but we're going to hit double Wrath. Got a free Starsearch pack. We're going to hit our Incarn. Stomp some more Starfalls. It says Starfire could assign proc, spam some more Starfires, redot, hit Wrath twice again. And as you guys can see, of course, it's like a very smushed together thing, but damage is going through the roof, right? It's very easy to get big damage. Very easy. Just gonna do a mix of this, do a mix of that. And there you go. That's basically the rotation for Boomies. Not many buttons. If you were running Fear of Elune, you'd cast Fear of Elune every off cooldown, and that would give you Astral Power. So you can cast another Starfall, Star Surge. If you're running New Moon, which is a single target ability, you would just drop the moons whenever your target caller says, "Hey, let's get on this guy, let's finish him off." You drop the moons, get a quick kill on him. It's kind of not like it's not like it doesn't give you more damage if they're lower, like a XQ on Warrior does, or like let's say Shadowburn does on Warlock, but it's great for finishing people off. So that is as far as the damage side goes. Now, another side of Boomie is we have a lot of utility, and our utility is used in millions of different scenarios, right? Because we have this great move called Cyclone. Now, Cyclone, if you played WoW before, I'm pretty sure you know what a Cyclone is, right? It's a 1.4 second cast for me because I'm at 26 haste. Basically, you just spam, 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 right? Makes them cannot, they can trinket of course, but they cannot attack, heal, do anything for 6 seconds the first time around. Second time it's 3 seconds, and the third time it's 1 second. And that goes for the whole time you're alive, I'm pretty sure. It might be every like few minutes it switches, but as far as I know, that's what it is. You want to use that on especially healers when like as often as you can when you're not DPSing. Like so let's say I have all my dots out, right? I have my dots out, right, and I have a Starfall. And I notice that they're just not taking any damage. I'll switch to like say this healer over here, CC him, and I'll go right back to dotting and doing damage, right? And so that's not the only thing. Let's talk about Root Beam. Root Beam is basically another Cyclone. It's a macro, so if I switch my macros and I find it in here, which is right here, it's right here. I'll copy it into the description. But basically, it's kind of like a mini Cyclone. It's the same length as a Cyclone, but it only works on casters as far as the stun goes, but it roots them as well because Massive Entanglement is a instacast, and you don't always have to use Root Beam as a stun. You can use it just as like a general Mass Entangle, which roots everybody within, I want to say like a 10-yard radius, but I might be wrong on that. I'll look at it right now. 15 yards. And it's pretty good. As far as utility go, those are going to be, of course, your main two. Then you have, of course, Energy, which I talked about earlier, which infused a friendly healer with mana for 10 seconds. They don't have to spend any of it while they can generate some. I'm also spec'd into Stampeding or Incapacitating Roar, which incapacitates everyone within 15 yards for 3 seconds. This is very helpful if you're getting, like, on flag maps. Like, let's say I'm trying to convert to offense, right? And this just, like, let's say a ret just on my ass, just attacking me. I can just hit this button, incapacitate him, go cat for him, run away, right? It's very helpful. I mean, you can do the same as Root Beam, but, you know, um, it's just a quick getaway. Let's see. Another thing we can talk about is getting away and staying alive, as that's a very key part to staying alive or winning and doing well as a druid is staying alive. Now, the main part of staying alive is being able to kite away, because we have our two different, well, four total forms. I know there's more. There's a mount form and there's a healer form, but I don't have those right now. And so basically, um, let's say we're just getting punched up, right? Ow, ow, ow. Like 20% HP, right? First thing I'm going to do is, like I said earlier, you can incapacitating roar, right? You start walking away. And then we have this nice little move on all forms called Wild Charge. Now, it does different things for different forms. So let's say I'm in Moonkin form, it bounds me backwards. Travel form, it leaps me forwards. So let's say I just incapacitating roar, I try forward jump, leap forward, and it just gets me away very quickly. Then I can pop my regrowths, right? Which are very quick fast, especially if you have wafting devotion on. By this time, you're gonna be probably around 40% haste because all your casts, go all into it, right? So, um, that's another big thing. Staying alive, very big. Um, you have, of course, your bark skin and renewal. Renewal is heals you for 30% of all HP. Um, whenever you know it's on not on cooldown, which is 1.5 minutes. But it's basically your best heal. Um, it's kind of like yeah, it's basically a lock rock, basically. Um, bark skin, which is very good. Your skin becomes as bark, reducing all damage you take by 20%, increasing healing received by 20%. Um, which is very, very helpful. Um, think of it as like a helpful, friendly MS, basically. It's one way to describe it. And then as well, you have a move called Frenzied Regen. Heals for 30% of your health over 3 seconds, increasing healing received by 20%. It's only used in bear form though, so in order to use it, you have to switch to bear form, which can limit your mobility. So you only ever want to switch to bear form when you are about to die or if you're spinning a base. Those are the only times you should ever be going to bear form because there's not much really else to be in bear form for. But aside from that, so that's as far as it goes as long as staying alive. Just try to get away and cast regrowth as best as you can. You can even cyclone whoever's attacking you and then go into regrowth, which is very, very helpful. Um, let's see. Okay, I haven't talked about stat priority yet either. Um, basically, we have 8% crit, 26% haste, 20% mastery, 27 versus 11 speed. Now, the easiest way to break this down is stat priority is going to be verse, haste, and mastery. Verse, I keep around 27 because we have this cool little buff at the beginning of the game we always hit, which is called Mark of the Wild. 3% haste for the whole game. It's very, very nice. Then we have haste. Haste, all casters need haste regardless. You know, just quicker cast times. I'm sure if you play WoW, you understand that. But if you're newer to WoW, makes all your casts quicker. Mastery, this is where it gets a little bit complicated. So every time you have Moonfire or Sunfire on a target, let's say, um, your damage done to them will be increased by 20%. So let's say, so it says your arcane spells deal 20% additional damage to targets affected by Moonfire. So if I have Moonfire on target, right, and I cast Starfire, which is arcane, right, it'll do more damage or stuff like that. So like, let's say I have Sunfire, right, or you know what I'm trying to say. Like the more, if you have Moonfire and Sunfire in them, your moves do more damage. That's all need to be said. Not all of them, because Star Surge, Starfall, and New Moon are all astral power. So those aren't affected by the mastery, but it's nice to have because your dots will do more damage if they're already dotted. If that makes any sense. So like if I'm reapplying a dot, it'll do 20% more damage. Let's say, because that's what I'm at right now. I'm at 20% mastery. And then as far as speed, leech, and avoidance go, just go with speed. Leech is not good at all right now, and avoidance is just not necessary, especially as a class that survivability is very hard to come by and very hard to accomplish. You need to make sure you have the speed to get away. Um, but I have seen builds where it's less mastery, more haste, or vice versa. With boomies, you can really go wild. But usually you want to run a mix of the three, which is what I'm running right now. Um, so that's about it as far as stat priority goes. Let's talk about PvP talents. So with PvP talents, um, there is a lot of them, and a lot of them are good. There's a few that I will never run, and those are some are that one of them is Thorns, one of them is Malorn Swiftness. Neither of them are just they're neither of them are just every class has bad PvP talents. Let me put it like that. And those are just two of them. Some of the best ones for Boomies are Moonkin Aura. Star Surge grants 4% crit chance to 8 allies within 40 yards for 18 seconds, staying up to 3 times, but it also applies to yourself. So let's say if I hit 3 Star Surges before doing a Starfall, that's going to up my crit chance by about 12%, and it's up everyone's in my area's crit by 12% as well. Um, but it has to be built though. Like you can't like let's say if I'm at 8% crit, right? And there's someone next to me just walked in, the next Star Surge is only gonna put down at 4 when it puts me to 12. If that makes sense. Um, but yeah. So then we have Starburst. Starfall causes down collapsing stars, lasts for 15 seconds. Enemies that come into contact with star cause it to burst, knocking nearby enemies upwards and dealing 40k astral damage, generates 15 astral power. This is very good because they drop all around the map, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Every time it's happened to me, I haven't noticed them, and I've just walked right into them blindly. And it generates astral power for you, which makes it easier to cast Star Surges and Starfall, and does damage. So it's very helpful. And usually, when it's not gonna show up on here because they don't move, of course, but whenever I'm in an RBG or arena, even, and I don't. Well, I'm not gonna be running Starburst in arenas because I'm not gonna run Starfall, but whenever I'm in an RBG, it's always like my fifth or sixth most damaging ability. And then I'm running High Winds. It used to be a lot better last patch, but basically Cyclone leaves the target reeling, reducing their damage and healing by 50% for 3 seconds. So let's say I just stunned a monk, right? Or not stunned, Cyclone a monk. Their healing will be reduced by 15% for the next 3 seconds, right? It's very helpful, especially when going after a tank and CCing the healers. They won't do as much healing on the tank as they did before. A very, very good talent. But another few talents some people run is Alkin Adept. Now, Alkin Frenzy, which is what is buffed by this PvP talent, is I'm pretty sure just by running Boomie. It's a weird little passive. Let's see if I can find it in here. Let's see, because like I said, like sometimes it just doesn't even show up. Here it is. While moving for a single target attacks against you, have 50% chance to make your next Starfire instant. So it buffs that, right? Um, and reduces the cast time cycle and rectangular roots by 10%. So let's say I'm running that, and I get a Starfire proc, right? I'm going to cast a Starfire, and then I'm pretty sure the Cyclone or rectangular roots after that has cast time by 10%. I don't see it as being that important because Cyclone at 1.4 second cast time, 10% is only going to bring down to about 1.1 or 1.2 seconds. It's not that big of a change in the cast time, so I don't worry about running it. Important thing to note, if you didn't already know, disarming a Blood Decay basically makes them flop over once they're about half HP and below. So if they're using a Blood Decay, we can switch to Ferris Form, which is a disarm. Or what I run sometimes is Crescent Burn. Basically, it helps with if you like over dotting is very common on Boomy. Because you always want to keep your dots refreshed. So oftentimes, like even though a dot can last for over 20 seconds, I'll redot it before it even gets to like 8 or 6 and just not notice, just for the sake of keeping the dots up. And so if you do that with Moonfire, it does 35% more damage directly on the first hit. So Moonfire does how much right now? Let's say, okay, 4,000 or 60,000 over time. So it's going to do about 72,000, 73,000 over time. Pretty good, if not more. Um, so that is as far as PT talents go. Now I've seen some people run Dying Stars, some people run Moon and Stars, some people run different things. But like I said, Boomie is a very make it how you want class. Like some people don't like running Incarn and they put it into mushrooms. I've seen it. Some people don't like running Stellar Innovation. They put it into Umbrella Intensity. I've seen it all. It's a very cookie cutter, no, not cookie cutter, very make it your own class. Now, that is as far as AoE goes. Now, For single target, it's different. So if I switch to my skirmish build, which is my single target, right, it's gonna look something like this. And now the reason it's like this, I can explain everything on here. I'm not running Starfall because, like I said, single target Starfall is AOE. So I'm running my moons, which is single target, which are basically just heavy hitting power balls falling from the sky. Best way I can describe it. Mushrooms are kind of work similar to, I guess you could say, Rain of Fire on a Destro, but they don't have to stay inside of it. Well, they have to stay inside of it, but it's not an overtime. It's a single target, or like a one hit type thing. So let's say I walk up and I hit a moon, right? If it would let me. Okay, it's not letting me hit a moon on him. What about here? Okay, it's not letting me cast moons right now. I don't know why, but it's just not letting me cast moons. Okay, or not moons, mushrooms. So they'll let me cast mushrooms, which is perfectly okay. Basically, like I said, it's just an AoE, not an AO thing, but if they're standing in the area of it, it does damage, and it generates astral power. So let's say I did 2 moons, I guess it's gonna give me a star surge. Simple as that. Or mushrooms, 2 mushrooms, and it's gonna give me a star surge. And then the moons work similar to um, that, or not that, work similar to star surge. Basically, it's a built-up thing. They don't do a whole lot of damage right now because they're in a nerf state. Same with Fear Balloon. But the more you get to cast them, the more they're gonna do. Like they don't do more damage the more time you cast them, but it definitely cures over time because just that one did about 220k off the moons or 200k, something like that. Um, so it's not bad. It's just a cast time. And that's one of the biggest things about Boomies. Most of your things you can do while moving, and it's not a cast time. So like I can run around and hit my DOS. I can run around and hit a Starfire proc if it's an instant. I can run around and hit a Star Surge. Stuff like that, right? Um, but single target is basically the same thing. I already went over it earlier, but I'll go over this again. Basically, just double RAS every time you can get a every 15 seconds before you're about to hit a Star Surge. So let's say I knew I hit a double wrath already. I'm not gonna hit it again. I don't know why it's saying invalid target. This is very weird. It's bugging out. But um, so if I'm casting a bunch of Star Surges, I know like not 15 seconds ago that I already am into an Eclipse. I'm not gonna cast it again. I'm just gonna go right back to doing more dots, or maybe I'm casting a Starfire instead or Moon, whatever I have at that point in time. Now, another thing I want to know now is Incarn. Um, Basically, in single target, don't think I'm spec'd into it. Okay, I am. Basically, it puts a dot on the target. Um, when you drag, I don't know what's going on right now. My game is acting very weird right now. Orbital Strike should make it like draggable, but it's not dragging right now, which is very weird. Um, my game's just acting really weird right now. But basically, it applies a dot and it puts you in Celestial Alignment. Now, Celestial Alignment is something I haven't talked about yet. Basically, when you do double wrath, it puts you in a lunar eclipse or solar eclipse rather, and that improves your astral damage. Now, when you do double starfire, that improves your nature damage, I believe, or arcane, one of the two. And when you have both of them, it improves your damage as a whole. So it's grand stat, um, a 10% crit chance, and if you're an orbital strike, like it should be letting me, it also puts a dot on the enemies. Called Stellar Flare. It's the worst of the 3 dots, and most people, well, I say 99.9% of people do not use it because it's a cast time, and it does not do as much damage as Moonfire and Subfire do. So most people don't use it at all. Only use it with the Incarn. So that is as far as single target goes. Um, and that is a lot of it. A lot of about Boomie. Like I said, it's not a very hard build or a very hard spec to learn, especially the way I play it. The way I play is very bursty for RBGs. And I'll put it up again, my RBG build in case you guys want to look at it. It's a very bursty, very Incarn heavy build. It works really well for me. Most of the times I am top three DPS, if not number one DPS on the team. And where that it could sure you could say it's pad damage, but it's damage nonetheless. And I've seen my dots absolutely obliterate targets just because the healers cannot keep up with how much damage the dots are doing. Now, by no means am I saying I'm the greatest Boomie of all time, but I am saying that um, it's a very intuitive build, or not build, spec, and it's a very easy spec to learn, to master. That's a different story, but the best thing to work on if you feel like you're not doing great as a Boomie is positioning, um, and getting better with cycloning, whether it be at a target or whether it be at a healer. It doesn't matter. Cycloning's always useful, especially on healers though. But like I said, if you're getting chased down by a ret on a flag map, don't feel free to cyclone them. Don't shy away from it. Like it could be a cast time and they might kick it, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Um, I feel like the last thing I need to talk about as a Boomy is positioning. Now, as a caster, you're normally going to be in the back line, but boomies kind of have a weird issue. Is most of the time the healer's in the back line as well. So if the healer's in the back line and you're in the back line too, there's no chance you're going to get a CC off. The only map you will is basically EOTs or Mines, where everyone's kind of in a compacted area, or maybe Kamogu, where you can be in the back line and still get away with CCs, but a base map, it's just not going to happen. So oftentimes, like, I don't find myself with the front line, but I don't find myself back with the healers. I kind of find myself in between both of them. So, like, let's say you have like a ret and a warrior just fighting in front of me. Like, let's say this is like the here, this works better. Let's say this is the flag right here, right? You have your ret and your warrior, warriors blade storming, right? The ret's fighting and all that, right? The healers are gonna be like back here-ish. I'm gonna be like right here, because the healers are gonna be like over here, and I'm gonna be able to reach that, right? Like it's not gonna be out of my range, right? So that is a big thing. But if you are getting, like I said, like attacked, and what you can do is like if you're in boomy form, you can wild charge back, which is a great way to kite. Or like I said, you can go bear form, incapacitating roar, then go to travel form, then jump away with your wild charge if you haven't already used it in boomy form. But yes, kiting is very huge, and make sure you are doing it, especially if you should literally see them right in front of your face, destroying you because that's taking heals away from everyone else that needs to be on, especially when you can be in the back free casting. Um, but let's say we're on silver shard mines, right? And let's say the mines, like we're on lava, it's coming down. Instead of gonna be in the back, like waiting, like having the mine going this, like the cart going this way, I'm gonna try to be as far back as I can, having it come to me. So even if the cart's ring is right here, I'm gonna stay like right outside of it, right, until it gets to about like the halfway point. Then I'll make sure I'm in it. But for that, it really doesn't matter because you're gonna be able to cast on people because the cast ranges are pretty far, like 45-yard range, 45-yard range. You know, they're very far, right? So I'm pretty sure like that's literally double like a Warlock's gate, not port, but a Warlock's you know, Rift gate length. But I might be wrong on that. But so that's basically everything. I'm pretty sure. But like I said, if you need to work on anything as a boomy, you feel like you're doing good damage. Best thing to work on is CCing more. You can never not CC enough. Like if you're CCing, if like 15 CCs on like a base map is like probably optimal at like a minimum. Like 10 to 15 CCs is like the bare minimum you need to be doing on base maps. Flag maps is different because it's a lot of moving, and you can't always get in range of it. Where that could be like anywhere from like 7 to 12 CCs on that map. But you can always do more. You can never not have enough CC. And but another thing is, like I said, positioning, making sure you're with people. Because if you're getting hawked down, like if like let's say there's a like I said earlier, let's say there's a ret dude that just intercepts you on a flag map, and you're all alone, dude. You're not gonna be able to outchase them unless you have stampeding roar or incapacitating roar rather, and you can get in your trap form and jump away. That's your only chance. And if he hodges you, Like after, like if he doesn't hide you for, he just intercepts you, starts attacking, and then he stuns, he trinkets, and then hides you. You're done for. Like you can always heal yourself, but you're not gonna get away from him, and odds are he's gonna kill you before anyone helps you, or he's gonna kill you before you can heal yourself. So positioning is very big. But I'm pretty sure I went over just about everything you need to know for at least starting to play Boomy. Let me know down in the comments if anyone has any questions. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I will link my spec or the share spec text in the Discord, or not the Discord, the description, and I will also link some of my macros. So I hope everyone has a great rest of your night. I hope you guys have a good time learning Boomy. Peace out, guys.